It was a crazy night, dude, topped off with a crazy ending.
Yeah, it was a up and down night for WrestleMania, I would say, but buddy, the main event more than delivered. In ring, storytelling, all of it. I think there's a lot of people that may have questioned why this was main eventing night one, and now you see exactly why this was the main event, because it's everything you want in a WrestleMania main event, from a swerve to great in ring to three of the biggest names in the industry, and just a wonderful way to cap off night one of WrestleMania.
If you're live in the chat with us, make sure you drop your comments, drop your questions. We're taking those as well. Aaron Grisham, Jared says that it was absolute cinema. What a main event it was to cap off night one, man.
Dude, I hate to say I told you so, but now I love to say I told you so. I love it. That's all I have to say.
Of the three of us, if you go back this week and check in the archives, Jared did pick the correct answer for the main event. But having said that, we all three were in agreement that Seth Rollins deserved the win the most, and he got it in an incredible way. Andy, I'm going to go to you first. As we look back throughout the way the match was told, an incredible triple threat match. But when Heyman, not when Heyman gave the chair to Punk, but Andy, when Heyman got in the ring, what were your thoughts?
Well, as soon as he got in the ring and started to awkwardly like shift his way over, I knew he's going to.
Jared would say waddle, right? Jared,
yeah.
he sort of waddled his way over.
Walrus. He's a walrus.
But I knew he was going to low blow Punk, because it just, the way everything was going, it made sense. But what sold me that this was actually happening, that he was going to join Seth, was Roman's reaction to it all. Like how Roman reacted as like this kid who got something taken away from him, and then you give it back, and he's like this annoying like kid that's all in your face about it and everything else. I could just tell. Yeah, this, like, he's not going to end the night with Roman either. Like, he's mad at both of these guys for making him pick between the two of them. So he's going to go with the third choice and just kind of flip everything on its head. And so the way they just did everything at the end, even like Michael Cole's reaction afterwards was just perfect of setting up. Seth's no longer a tweener. Like, Seth is fully a heel now. Paul Heyman is fully with them. And just, it was a wild way to end that triple threat.
It really was, Jared. Like, I thought after Heyman low blowed Roman that he was just going to walk out and like he wouldn't have anything to do with Seth. But dude, Seth getting that look on his face and then holding his hand out like Roman would hold his hand out for the microphone, and Heyman giving him the chair. Oh my goodness. So good.
So I was watching it with my wife, and as soon as it happened, like I told her what was going to happen. And so Paul stayed in the ring, and I was like, he's going to turn on Roman too. Like, he's going to hit him between the legs. So that's really all Paul can do. And
Correct.
So whenever that he kept standing beside Roman, I was like, it's coming. It's coming. And she's like, I don't think so. And I was like, it's coming. And so then he gets down, low blows Roman, goes over to the corner. And I was like, well, he's done. He's too fat to get back up. He can't. So that's, I mean, he's done. And then, I just loved it. Loved it when Seth won. It was great. I mean, if I could have picked, I was a Punk guy, but I just had this feeling, man, that Seth, it was happening.
Listen, I'm wearing a Roman Reigns t-shirt the night that it happens, but I am absolutely stoked that Seth Rollins won this match. We talked about it ad nauseum on the podcast this past week. If you guys that are watching us live and joining us for the first time, just make sure to go back and check out previous episodes. Stick right here with us on tonight's show. But when you get the chance, go back, make sure you hit the subscribe button and go check out previous episodes, because we have talked ad nauseum. Seth Rollins just deserved this. He needed the big win on the big stage, and he got it in a huge way. Aaron, in the comments, I see you about the rest of night one. I'm going to get to that, I promise. We got a comment here from Sean Lucas. Last match was a beautiful masterpiece. It was, guys, Jared, we speculated. We speculated the fact that we didn't know how they would connect the pieces with Seth and with Paul. And I would argue, Jared, that we still don't know, But now we're going to find out, is Heyman with Seth long term? Was this the favor that Seth said that Heyman owed him, and it's just a one and done and we move on? I don't know, but I'm anxious to see how they do it, Jared.
I think they're going to play it off like that, even before the favor deal, like he was with Seth. And I still think Andy's right, dude. I think tomorrow, I think Paul is going to do something else, and we're possibly going to see Rock, Seth, Heyman,
And Cena.
and Cena. Yeah,
And Cena. Yeah. Andy, listen, you almost blew up the show by making that prediction. So listen, for all of you that are watching live, if that happens tomorrow night, Andy predicted it. And last night on the Sports Wire Radio WrestleMania preview show that I was on with Tom Bryce and a couple of other guys on the Sports Wire crew, I made it known that Andy made this call and I said, listen, this is what he predicted. And step one of that, Andy, has come to fruition. Let's see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think they have something big planned for tomorrow night's main event too, because I don't think you start WrestleMania weekend by finishing the show like this if you don't have something as big, or if not bigger, planned for the night 2 WrestleMania main event. So I think something like this could play in. I don't like The Rock doesn't even necessarily have to show up. If Heyman and Seth go out there and just help Cena win, that just automatically aligns all the powers that be together. Which I love that you've got your corporate guy in Rock, you've got your part-time champ in John Cena, you've got your workhorse full-time guy in Seth Rollins, and you've got your mouthpiece in Paul Heyman. It's everything that they wanted the Authority to be in 2015, just better. Like in every aspect, they've got so many better pieces put together for it. So yeah, I think that as this was happening tonight, it just was becoming clearer and clearer that could be a possibility for how WrestleMania ends tomorrow night. And I'm hoping so. And if it is WWE, I'm expecting the check in the mail, because it's like we've talked about. It's a master class. It's beautiful.
I'm anxious. Go ahead, Jared.
It's going to be basically the new Dangerous Alliance if that happens. I don't know. He's not Paul Lee Dangerously anymore. He's Paul Heyman. So I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's basically going to be the new Dangerous Alliance.
They could call it that. I mean, I think that's fine. They could call it that. Let me get a couple of these comments here. We're talking about how great this is and how much of a masterclass it is and just how beautiful that it is. But Brandon in the comments saying, WWE, it's easy to know what happens in matches. And we've talked about their predictability before. Brandon's thrown up another comment. He says, I see Cena wins and takes the title home, and WWE will make a new title so they can get away from the Vince era. Those are two loaded predictions right there. But Jared, as a longtime viewer of wrestling and old school, and then Andy, you chime in as well, we've talked about how this is a little more predictable in the Triple H era, but it's more predictable because it's more fan service and sort of giving us what we want with some unexpected twists and turns along the way. What do you think?
First of all, I just got a message from my buddy, Jacob Barber, and he says that Jey Uso appears to be crap-faced in his in the interview that's going on right now. So that's interesting.
Doesn't surprise me.
Nope.
Okay. So ask me that again. I was distracted. I apologize. I'm sorry about it.
That's okay. I'll throw Brandon's comment back up here. He says, WWE, it's easy to know what happens in matches. And we've talked about that predictability under the Triple H regime, but the fact that it seems to be working out because it's kind of what the fans want, but then they give us those twists and turns along the way that just keeps us guessing.
A lot of tonight, I think, was predictable. I mean, I guessed a lot of it right. I think you boys guessed a lot of it right. A lot of them just to keep continuity of storyline going, which is what I think they are trying to do. I think Triple H is already booking towards next year's WrestleMania and who he's going to set up. Like, I think he already sees that in his mind. So, yeah, if you pay attention to the product, kind of like how Sam Roberts says, if you watch the product, that's the first rule. You watch the product and you can a lot of times predict what's going on. The main event, I think a lot of people made a lot of predictions. It's just what happened. Some people predicted it, and that one's the one that came true.
Yep. I agree, Andy.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think predictability is not always an indication that it's bad. Like
Correct.
sometimes things are predictable for a reason because like Jared mentioned, the story is either heading in that direction or it makes sense. And I think that's something new, at least in the Triple H regime, that we've really started to pick up on is everything now matters. Like we don't start a story, stop a story, then start a story, then stop a story, and then try to come back to it later or whatever the case is. Everything is fluid and everything is moving and everything's going forward. And so predictability is not always a bad thing. I think it's in a lot of ways it's a good thing. I would say like tonight's main event was not predictable. I mean, all three of us picked somebody different to win the whole thing. We talked about scenarios. The scenarios made sense for all three that's a direction that they could go in. So I think we're out of the swerving for swerve's sake, which I don't know. Like I think there's a place for that. I think there's a time for that because it works sometimes.
Yep.
But then 9 times out of 10, if we're honest and looking at a lot of like the swerves that just happen out of nowhere, 9 times out of 10 that put them back in the corner and not, advancing a storyline or doing something that is shocking.
I think that the Russo swerves for swerve's sake, bro. I think that's over. Thank God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll put this comment again from Sean Lucas. Sean, appreciate you commenting. Again, if you're watching us live and you want to drop your comments and questions, please do that. We're going to try to get to each and every one of those as best we can. And again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button. We would appreciate that so very much. Help us grow this channel, tell a friend, and then grab their phone and hit subscribe on there if they don't want to do it. Just do it for them. Okay. Sean's comment. The predictability was easy tonight, but the storyline build up for the main event is what made the match better. Oh, I mean, without a doubt, that video package that they put together for this match was just absolutely insane. It was so good. Yeah. And then the history that these guys have and the callbacks and stuff like that. Let's look back. The entrances for each of these guys. Oh my gosh. Like they were just done so masterfully with Roman with the screens coming down with his family behind him and his new gear. And then you had Rollins with the flamethrower and then the all white. And then you had Punk get played live by In Living Color. Jared, just presented as a main event should.
It was beautiful. And what I loved was that like Seth goes from being dark. He's been without friends. And then he comes to the light. And there he is, like this is a new version. They basically told you, just in like the color schemes and what's going on, they told you something was going to happen if you paid attention.
Aaron in the comments, and we'll read a couple of these, Andy, and then we'll get your thoughts here. The result may have been predictable, but if the acting is well done and storytelling is well done, I'm all in. You can have a well-written movie that is completely ruined by terrible acting. And Heyman's performance deserves all the Oscars. Andy, speaking of those entrances, we got Punk's old theme. They played This Fire Burns during the package, leading into his entrance. Just so well done, man.
Yeah, that's the part that like as soon as I heard that hit with the video package, I didn't even see anything yet. I went, that was the entrance of the night because we got This Fire Burns. It's nothing's gonna beat that this entire weekend. I don't care what anybody does. And I loved even just the video package of showing old Punk cutting a promo and interweaving it with like modern day Punk, and it's still the same guy telling the same story he's been telling since day one. And like we talked about before on here, you never know what you're gonna get with live entrance music being played. However, like the couple of times Living Color has done it, they've never really been that bad. Like I'm always fine with them coming out. But just everything, like you mentioned, I think Jared mentioned Seth's character going from dark to light. I think him burning the building down is him burning down his old character, and we're getting this brand new character started on Monday or like starting tonight.
Bingo.
And just foreshadowing everything. That's the thing that I love now about this is they realize we don't need our handheld when it comes to storytelling. Like we pick up on this stuff on our own. And when we pick up on it on our own and you don't tell it to us, then we appreciate it even more. So when you do predictable stuff like tonight, it doesn't feel like a slap in the face. Like, oh, we could see that a mile away. No, you're just progressing the story to this point. And now we're like, now I don't know what the next chapter looks like. Like, we got to this point, that's great, but what happens next? And I think that's the most important part.
You're just connecting the dots, and
Yeah.
it's super cool, Jared, because the other thing that I noticed talking about burning down the city, Seth and again Michael Cole talking about how he's with Heyman, blah blah blah. Seth wouldn't let the referee raise his hand at the end of the match. He slapped the referee's hand away, which even normal heels, when they win a match, don't necessarily do that. But Seth did it, showing again, we're on the road. Maybe we don't get a new entrance theme. Maybe we do. I don't know. All I know, Jared, is I want him to keep the entrance theme because I want Heyman to actually sing it. Since he tried to get him to the other week, I want Heyman to sing it. I don't know. I'm anxious to see what other details that they drop into this.
Speaking, I thought you were going to take my thought, but you didn't. Thank goodness. Did you notice that whenever Michael Cole was talking during the match, if you paid attention closely, what he said was, the goal has always been to win, for CM Punk to win at WrestleMania. That sets up next year, because now he main evented WrestleMania, but they build it up like, no, it wasn't just main eventing. He's got to win at WrestleMania.
Yep. Yeah. We're long-term booking, as Andy said, like we're setting up for the future for sure here. One thing to point out, and this is something that I preached to everybody that was in my house as we watched this, is that in this, where we've shifted the look of shows in January and gone to Netflix and 3 hours on USA, they have emphasized every single show that this new sturdy commentary table has never been broken since January, and they broke both of them tonight. So,
beautifully. Broke them beautifully.
Yes, that is out the window. Final thoughts, as we got a lot to get to as far as the rest of the card goes. Final thoughts on the main event, not necessarily how it leads to tomorrow night, but just final thoughts. Jared, I'll go to you first on this main event and what we saw to close up tonight.
I think Aaron said it, cinema. I mean, if you're ever going to say cinema, it's becoming one of those things that people almost overuse sometimes. But this tonight, that was cinema, and I loved it.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I go back to the right man, and I think Bryce just said the right man won.
He did. Yep. There it is.
I am as big of a diehard Punk fan as you can meet. I love Punk. I love Roman. Nobody deserves this moment more in the sun, in the spotlight, than Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And so seeing him get this moment on WrestleMania after everything he put his body through last year, and everything that he's just kind of done his entire career, he's always been that guy that's like, he's second best to Roman. Even though he's like got Roman's number, he's always going to be the second guy behind Roman.
Yep.
And tonight he's got that big win. He's got another win over Roman that he's going to absolutely throw in his face.
Yep.
And like we mentioned, like I could see Roman versus Seth next year at WrestleMania. I could see them running this triple threat back again next year at WrestleMania if they play their cards right and they kind of tell the story. But just a
fantastic title at that point in the triple threat. Could have title.
Yeah. So it's like just a fantastic main event that potentially could set the stage for an even bigger end tonight too.